Give me a minute, I promise to make it pop. If she come with me, she leave with me, that's on the God. No matter what, no matter just who you are. If you change your mindset, a million is who you are. We shine bright from carbon just like a star. And we hustle hard, stay focused, give it our all. And
I never seen so many riches in my life.
Yeah.
Fountains of champagne and numb the pain.
Come on.
I've been blinded by these diamonds in my eyes.
Say what?
Diamonds in my eyes.
Mic check 1 2, y'all. What's going on out there in the world, yo? Y'all know what it is. It's another one, man, and it's your boy, yo. This is Sparking Conversation, and y'all know how we do, man. Each and every week we get out here, me and the crew, and then every now and then we have special guests come on too, and they chop it up with us, man, and we get into some things out here, So I feel like that's what we got to do, man. When we get platforms like this, or whatever I guess a person's desire is for whatever they do, how they do. I just want everybody to know that each and every person that comes on Sparking Conversation, we have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to change perspective. We don't argue. We don't go back and forth with people. Now, we do show a little passion here and there, depending on what the topic is and how we relate to it or not. But in the end, that's what it's about. It's about grown-ups having a conversation, not talking over each other, not talking at each other, but kind of talking with each other, right? So you could gain perspective. I think that's the biggest thing that we all lack as adults. I'm only saying we because, I'm an adult. I can't single myself out, but for the most part, that's what we do, man. We don't ever try to talk to each other with a bit of understanding so we could figure it out. So before I get into all that, how I do, let me give thanks. Listen, thank you to all the people that download the audio version of this podcast, yo. Thank y'all so much. Gotta always open the show with that, man, because that's super dope. You know what I mean? From Google to Apple to Amazon to Spotify. I mean, all those, man. Y'all cats is out here showing out, and we appreciate it, man, for real. And y'all all over the world, yo. So it's crazy. And I'm gonna tell y'all this too. All the playbacks, thank y'all, man, for all the people that go back and watch the playbacks of the show. I mean, it's dope. It's because, like I say, man, you just never know, man. You be out here thinking that some shit gonna happen for you overnight, and it's not. But when you put in that work and you stay consistent and you don't worry about that, you just keep building the content, everything else work itself out, right? You know what I mean? Certain things you don't gotta chase, you just attract it. That's how I feel, man. I feel like me and my crew, we ain't out here chasing shit, yo. When you put certain energy out in the atmosphere, then it's going to bring it right back to you. You know what I'm saying? So I would advise everybody out there, put the right energy out there and you'll get the right thing back. So before we get into the show, I want to let y'all know I got a special guest that's coming on. You know what I mean? I got Miss Sunshine Anderson coming through. Now, listen, I know when I mentioned that last time, a few of y'all was like, oh, word, heard it all before. Y'all, you going to have heard it all before up there? I'm like, nah. I'm like, yo, I got a lady up there. That's her real name. But check this out. I should have not said that even and just ran with it. So then our joint would have been flooded up here. Everybody would have got on here looking for heard it all before and shit. I just played a little bit of the beat in the background. Just to give y'all a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Robbie fronting. I like, nah, y'all ain't read. Look at the spelling of her name. Y'all just don't read. That's how you can always get people by making them read something. People don't read. Either they read too slow or they read too fast, but they don't like to read. You know what I'm saying? People like to listen. But anyway, double salute to all of y'all, man. Everybody that's going to jump on live. Remember, like I say, the comments be wide open. You know what I mean? So at any given time, y'all want to jump on and give commentary and we can show it on the screen, we will. So, again, so we got Sunshine Anderson on today. We're going to talk about a little. Y'all know this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well as Domestic Violence Awareness. So we had a couple of shows already where we kind of briefly touched over different things that's dealing with domestic violence, from Coach Erica that was on, and she was talking about her book and her movie and everything that she was doing. To the time that me and the crew got up here and we talked about Shorty that got caught with that brick. I know that everybody was like, yo, Rod, the brick was fake or whatever. That lump wasn't fake. But the brick situation and all that. I understand that was fake and all that, but I'm just talking about the thought process of having to process the fact that somebody would hit somebody with a brick like that in their head. You know what I mean? So, just the fact of that. But then we also talked about the young lady and that had the altercation with the guy inside of the food spot, the chicken spot. And then she went and told her son to come through, and he wound up killing a young man, and all these other different things that happened. But it was based on domestic violence. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about that. You know what I mean? Sunshine, she's gonna come on and she's gonna talk about a lot of things that she has going on as far as when it comes to that. It's a few programs and it's a few things that she has going on. We're just gonna chop it up with her. I'm not gonna give it all away, right? So we're gonna chop it up with her. We're gonna let her get it out, and then we're gonna talk about a few things. You know what I mean? But before we do that, I just want to give a shout out, to anybody. Like, listen, Black people. One thing that we gotta stop doing, we gotta stop being so emotionally charged when it comes to things that happen. You know what I mean? Like the thing that's going on in the Middle East, you know what I mean? And that whole war and all that other stuff, like I get it. Y'all always screaming that dumb shit out. Like, we don't hear them saying, save Black America. We don't hear them saying, I know I know y'all don't hear them saying that, but that don't mean that they don't feel like y'all don't know. Like they don't let their news and all that other stuff get out like that. Like they don't be doing all that. When the last time y'all went over there to their social media and saw what the hell they was talking about or even understood what they were saying? Y'all wouldn't even know if they were saying, whatever they got to say about what's happening to us over here. But the thing about us, it ain't just happening to us over here. It's happening to us all over the world. So whenever y'all say that dumb shit like, we ain't this, and they don't care about us when stuff happened to us, it's corny when innocent people die because of the way that some other motherfuckers feel. Like, that's a problem, I don't know why y'all don't think that, because in our community, we'll get upset in a heartbeat, when it's a white cop doing something to us or somebody white that's doing something to us. Oh, man, we ready then, We can't help it. We ready to go to war. We ready to march. We ready to do all kind of shit, collect cans and shit. I don't even know where that came from, but, whatever. But still, we down to do all this other dumb shit when it's like that. But let Ray Ray and Pookie have a little shootout in the hood. Everybody just go to the funeral with matching shirts, and that's it. But that's some corny shit. So why can't we have that same energy even when it comes to us? Why can't we check us and stop worrying about other people? And what's wrong with having compassion for other people, man? You got to stop being so racially charged and motivated. They use it against us each and every day, They got the whole immigration thing with the wall being wide open. They're going to use that for a political. I'm telling y'all, they're going to use that coming up to get all y'all votes, thinking that a bunch of Mexicans just running through here because they just want to be here. If they running from where they from, then where you think they coming? They coming here because they wanted to be better. Now, if they having beef with everywhere they go, then my thing is like, damn, did y'all ever have a conversation? Y'all know that you can get them earbuds where you could put the joint in where it could translate for you in your ear. Word. Let people think you don't know what they talking about. But at any given time, if y'all ever had conversations, I know y'all gonna be like, wow, they don't be doing all that. But how y'all know that be the real people? How y'all know that don't be spies and plants and stuff put in these scenarios with these people to pop shit and start shit with y'all to make y'all think that's how the majority of them are, and then boom, that's it. Y'all know the same tact that's been used against us since slavery, and y'all still falling for it. That's the dumb shit. Y'all still falling for the same shit that they used against us when we was out here working for free. Now y'all getting paid to do the same dumb shit. But I digress, y'all. One thing about it, we gonna pop, and we not gonna be playing with y'all out here when y'all be sitting up here acting like that. We all the same. We not all the same, All skin folk ain't your kinfolk, Y'all just gotta remember that. Roll with the people that roll with you, Stop playing. But anyway, I'm about to bring the crew up real quick and see what's going on. Then we're going to get our guests in. Sponsors, thank y'all. Double salute to y'all. A couple of things. Everybody been talking about how can they support the show, how can they support the brand and all that other stuff. It's cool. All y'all got to do is go on our link tree. There's a link tree right there. Y'all could go up there. Y'all could see everything up there. If y'all want to support the show, y'all can support the show. If y'all want to get some merch, y'all can get the merch, you know what I'm saying? If y'all want to just rock out with us and find out everything we got going on, go see the content, go watch the comedy shows, anything like that, y'all can go to the link tree. And y'all can see that. Another thing that we got going on. So in StreamYard now, you know what I'm saying? They allow background music or they allow music to be played anyway. So now we can play music through. So all them artists that been hollering at me asking what happened to Shutdown Radio, we gonna do something better. I'm gonna probably take one show a month, man, and we just gonna review music, man. We're gonna have y'all send y'all joints in and me and the crew, we're gonna listen and we're gonna chop it up. I'm gonna have some of my DJ people come on, some of my industry folks come on, and we're just gonna see if we can't get people a couple of opportunities. I ain't talking about record deals and stuff like that. I think that's corny. If you want to sign yourself away to the devil, you do that on your own. But right now, we're just talking about opportunities and shit, yo. So, all right, now that that's out the way, I could bring the crew up, right? All right, so let me bring the crew up. Let me see what's going on. All right, C double. Oh man, eating.
Hey y'all.
That's a every time thing right there. Eating. Oh,
What?
yeah.
Hey.
And y'all muted, y'all. Why y'all playing, y'all? Unmute.
I'm not
Muted.
muted.
We're not muted. We can hear you.
Muted. I can't hear y'all. Y'all
We're
can hear
not.
y'all. Y'all can hear me.
Can you hear me? See?
Yeah, we can. I can hear you.
Okay,
Me.
well,
You
I
hear me?
can hear y'all, man.
Yeah.
Can y'all
You
hear
can't
each
hear
other?
us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Let's
don't know
go,
what's going on
dumbass.
there. It's always something. I'm up here giving these bum ass people a shout out, and then now look what's going on. Like, y'all, you was just fine just a second ago.
Who you
All right,
calling
hold
bum
on.
ass
All right,
people?
so we're
Though?
gonna bring Sunshine up, y'all. Let me see. She see if she can hear us, y'all.
But who was the bum ass people?
What's going on, Sunshine?
Hey, I can hear
Oh,
them.
yo, so it's just me. So I
And we
can't
can hear you
that's
too, girl.
so funny, yo. Hold on, it's just me.
I
All
can
right,
hear them.
so y'all can I can't hear y'all, but y'all all can hear me.
Yeah.
It's difficult. All right, so hold on. All right, let's try this again, y'all. Let's try this again. Let's go. Let's go. Hold on. Say something.
Hey,
Oh
can you hear
man,
me?
that's so corny. Hello.
You
Say
can hear us
something.
for
See
real.
that? Oh, that's so corny. Meek, say something.
Yo.
So ghetto.
Oh, that's so corny, yo.
You still can't.
We
He
was
still
just
can't
all
hear us.
talking. That's so
Girl,
corny.
still can't hear us.
Maybe I said too much in the beginning.
You
Yeah,
did. You was talking like
I be
shit.
popping shit. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I wonder if other people can hear y'all. Hold on, let me see. Let me
You
go
better
in the
hope they hear
comments. Hey, yo, for those of y'all that's watching right now, can y'all hear them? Somebody say something to me real quick, yo. Put it in the comments real quick if y'all can hear them. If
What
y'all
y'all
can
eating?
hear
Why
them,
you
then
putting
I'm
on
gonna
some
have to jump out and jump back in on my own.
some baked
Me,
macaroni
gotta
and
be something wrong with
cheese,
me.
some cabbage with
Can
some
y'all
smoked
hear
leg
them?
bone, some fried fish.
Okay. Okay.
I
I'm
threw
just
down
eating
with
some
those
Ain't
folks.
nobody jump
some
in the comments
Peruvian
yet.
rice.
Maybe they can't hear me.
Oh.
Y'all, they can't hear me. They can only hear y'all. Y'all put it in the comments then. Put it in the comments. Say it, CJ.
Hey,
say
can y'all hear
y'all
us?
put in the comments if
Can
y'all
you
can
guys
hear
hear
Wild.
us?
This is ghetto, y'all. Let us know if y'all can hear
So
us for real.
ghetto.
Yes, where you at, girl? Because you be tuned in, Stank. Where you at, Stank? Let us know if you can hear.
Seriously, who can you hear, Ra or us?
It was just working at sound check. What happened?
Yo, it's 3 people. All right, come on, y'all. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in. We trying to get the audio right. Like, I can't hear them, but they can hear me. And that's really corny, yo.
It's very crazy.
Very.
Well, this is our podcast, y'all.
Yes.
Ra ain't even part of this podcast today.
Okay. Miss Sunshine
Oh, yo,
Anderson.
y'all don't
Hey,
do that,
girl.
because I can't hear y'all. Yo,
Hi,
don't do that,
Rosh.
yo. I can't defend myself right now. Ain't nobody jump in the chat yet. Yo, if y'all jump in the chat, if y'all can't hear me, those of y'all that's watching, let me know. If y'all can hear them, let me know too, yo. Come on, y'all, help me out.
They can hear us.
Because I'm trying to figure out what to do.
They can
Because
hear
they
us.
talking junk and I can't hear them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talking hella shit. You gonna hear this in
Hold
playback?
on, private chat. Can anyone hear any of us?
Right at this point.
Hold on, y'all. Let me get out.
Who
I'm
can
going
hear
out and
us?
come back in. Hold on.
Oh,
We
this the
all
private
go out
chat?
and
My
come back
bad.
in. Everybody go out and come back in. Hold on. All of y'all that's watching, don't
They
go
said they
nowhere.
can
We
hear
be right back.
everyone. Hold on.
Oh, they
They
said they can hear all of us.
All right, yo. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, I can hear y'all now. We in there. Ooh.
Party.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what happened when they try to play us, y'all. We get right around it. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing, y'all?
We all right. Full.
Good.
Y'all full? Y'all eating?
Happy.
Y'all happy when y'all eating, y'all?
Yeah.
Sunshine, what's going on?
Nothing much.
How you doing?
Good. Just chit and chat with Mika and CJ.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Sunset said she did not sign up for this ghetto shit. Okay.
Nah. Yo,
We
hey
got you,
now.
girl. We apologize. Don't worry about it. We got you.
Yo, listen. Every now and then, we get a little ghetto. My bad. I try to send people the clips before they jump on. It could go any way around here, yo. Word up. All right, back. Well, let me be the first to say thank you. I appreciate you for jumping on with us tonight, for real, because I know you're a real busy person. So before we get started, just let everybody know who you are and a little bit about what you do, if you don't mind.
So my government name is Trista. That's my first name, but it's Trista Sunshine Anderson. I do a lot. So in 9 to 5, I'm in corporate America. I'm in the natural gas industry, but in my free time, I'm studying for law school. So I'll be entering law school next year. I'm just CJ. So yes, so also I do a little bit of everything. So like I was telling you, I'm a part of a Chamber of Commerce leadership program, and one of the things we're focusing on for our project is domestic violence. So we've been advocating for domestic violence over the last couple of months. So we've done great initiatives to bring awareness to that, and we have many more initiatives throughout this month to bring awareness to domestic violence. I know we'll get into that. I'm also the host for Energy Talks Network Powerful Woman segment. So you guys will hear me on that in the next month or so. We're shopping around for guests. So you'll hear us next month on that. And I can go on and on and on, but that's a little bit about
Okay,
me.
come through accomplishment.
Yeah. Come through with it, y'all. That's what I'm talking about, y'all, for real.
Yeah.
Well, listen, so you know how I've come across this young lady was I was invited on a panel for LaDeja Nelson, and she was one of the speakers, moderators, guests, along with the Energy Talks Network crew and all that. So that's how I came accustomed to it. So then I went and looked up a lot of things. So when it comes to domestic violence, I think this is the perfect time for us to have these shows because of the awareness of this month, right? So like I said earlier, we've had a couple of shows where we've allowed a couple of people come up here and they've been talking about that in the sense of, you know, how it affected them. So if you don't mind, I want you to tell people a little bit about as far as like the gala that you put together and stuff like that when it comes to domestic violence, and how are you guys going about putting it together? Like what is the main premise of putting this gala together?
So let me give you background. So how I got involved in advocating for domestic violence. So when I was growing up, my dad used to abuse my mom. So for 23 years they was together. He abused my mom for 23 years. So my mom had 8 kids. My dad had 3. So it was 11 of us. So every time my mom left, my dad threatened to take us back. He kept threatening. So every time she leave, he took us back. So often people say why a woman don't leave. It's always a reason why. It's a financial reason. Kids are involved, different things like that. So when the last 2, it was myself and my brother. I was 12, he was 13. When we got, of age to understand, one morning, my dad, because my dad grew up in Chicago. My mom grew up, she was from Mississippi. So at the time we stayed in Mississippi. So my mom, either my dad could work right behind the house or he could work in another town. This particular morning, he worked in another town. My mom told me and my brother to grab a garbage bag, put all we could in that garbage bag, and my cousin came and got us. We hid out at my cousin's house until my sister came and picked us up, and that's how we got to Georgia. So we had to run away here. So for the first year, so for the first year, I was in Georgia. I went back the next year because I was homesick. That was my life. So I stayed with my older sister in Georgia. I had to hide out from my dad for an entire year so he wouldn't, kidnap me or take me back. Then I ended up coming back with my mom. So for 5 to 6 years, we hid out here before my dad ever knew where we were. So it was since I was like 17 when he finally potentially knew where we were. But the first time I saw my dad after leaving was then, and that was at my grandma's funeral, his mom's. So
Wow.
that's how I ended up coming to Georgia. So that's how I got here. So every time I talk about domestic violence, a lot of people don't know that October is Domestic Violence Month. We always think of breast cancer, breast cancer, breast cancer, but it's Domestic Violence Month. And domestic violence is the number one killer amongst women. So it's like when it comes to cancer versus domestic violence, women die more of domestic violence than cancer. So just back to my mom, my dad beat my mom. My dad wore cowboy boots or whatever. He beat her with a boot. She went into coma. So that's how bad it was. So I have, I grew up with the domestic violence. So any chance I get, I'm advocating for domestic violence because a lot of people were scared to talk about it. It's taboo. Sometimes when we talk about it, you may know somebody you work with that's being affected by domestic violence, but people just don't want to talk about it. And I don't know why. So I made it my business over the last couple of months to get in people's face and talk about it because it is something that we need to talk about.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I don't know. I will say, like, it gets talked about a lot. I think, the violence of men towards women. I mean, it gets talked about a lot. I think it gets talked about it to the point where domestic violence only seems like it's towards one gender.
But it's towards men. It's 1 in 7 men get abused.
Yeah. The only thing is that we can't get no men that come up here that know that they take a couple jabs and be honest enough to come up here and have a conversation with us about their experience with dealing with that, because let's think about it. Like, domestic violence is not always physical. Sometimes it's verbal and emotional, right?
It's financial
and mental, financial. Oh, we talked about that before too, with this whole alimony thing that they jumping off with, But anyway, that's what I'm saying. So domestic violence, it kind of covers it all when it comes to the control of a person. I just think the physical part is just a little bit more detrimental when it comes to that because there's such anger involved with the words love. Like, anger and love is like it's supposed to be synonymous for a person to understand that they're doing this to a person that they say that they love. And really, I don't understand how you can love somebody and then want to do the things that you do to them or see them abused or bruised and things like that. So let me ask you this. So with that experience growing up and now as an adult, have you experienced like this whole scenario with your friends or other people outside of your mom? Has it been a trend amongst women that you've been around or something like that?
Not so much. It's of older generation, like my aunts and my mom, just older. Like when you talk to older generation or people older than you, they've witnessed that or they've been involved in that. But one of the things I advocate, Ra, is for like children, because for you to do those things, you have seen it growing up. Somebody, somebody. Like if you talk about a man or if you talk about a woman. So say, for instance, if I was involved in somebody and I was in a domestic violence relationship, it's potentially because I witnessed a domestic violent relationship and I thought it was okay. And as a man, if a man is physical towards a woman or if a woman physical towards a man, they've witnessed that somewhere. They've seen that. They grew up. So when I advocate for it, I advocate like what are we doing for children that's in that situation? Because we have to give kids help. Because sometimes, we focus on the woman or the man or whomever, but when you have kids growing up in that situation, especially, having to run away from your, because he wasn't a bad father. So I always tell people, my dad wasn't a bad father. He was a bad husband. Because he didn't treat us bad. He took care of us. He wasn't violent towards me, but he was just a mean person. Gotcha. And sometimes people say because they drinking or because they on drugs. My dad wasn't on drugs. He didn't drink. He was just a mean person.
He was just mean as shit.
Yeah. No drugs or alcohol involved.
Mean.
But so was he mean to like other dudes too, or was he just mean towards women?
I think it was he was just mean. It was towards men. It was towards women. He was just a mean person. So I think his brother, because like my mom had 8 siblings. My dad had like 7 siblings. Him and his brother got to fighting because he did something to my mom in his brother's presence, and they got into it. And he's just mean. And I think because he was the oldest of all of his siblings, my grandfather was murdered, so he witnessed all of that. My dad only had a 4th grade education. My dad couldn't read or write, but my daddy was a businessman. My dad, he had to count money. You know, he can do the things that he needed to do to be successful, but he could not read or write. So he grew up, like I said, in Chicago, and that's what they grew up around. He was just a mean person. He was just mean.
Right. And I think a lot of us experience people in our lives or know people who had people in their lives were just mean as shit, yo. Like they just mean for no reason. But I guess it is a reason, you know. What you be talking about all the time, CJ, you be saying that childhood trauma or that past trauma that people be dealing with that they don't actually deal with. And
correct.
They project it when they get older. So let me ask y'all ladies this. So CJ, let me ask you this. So when it really comes to projection though, like are there signs of that a person is like going down this route where you feel like they about to project this energy on you? Like, you know, you could tell like this person ain't really got, like they missing a couple sandwiches out their picnic basket, yo. Like what you thinking?
I do. Like it's and we say lack of communication, but that varies and that range is so wide. So it's like lack of comprehension during the conversation. Like most of them usually only kind of like hear what they want to hear and kind of decipher their own message out of what you're kind of expressing. Whereas it don't necessarily align up with what you're saying. They're more so responding to give you an answer versus responding to your questions. Like little stuff, like you can be arguing with someone and, you know, or just having a conversation with your partner and expressing how, you know, example, like, oh, love language is X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden this person starts, Superman. Well, all of a sudden this person starts jumping down like a completely different rabbit hole. Like I experienced one of my girlfriends, she had like a little argument with her boyfriend, and she was expressing how, you know, hey, like, you know, you got to learn how to keep your phone on. You communicate, anything can happen. Nobody will know where you at because you don't know how to pick the phone up. You don't know how to that's dangerous in this time. And you know, I have a problem with that. And his whole thing was like, you know, well, I feel like you trying to control me and you doing this. I'm just like, wait, like nobody's trying to control you. Like this, you know, somebody's trying to reach you. Like
they care about you,
right? Like we don't want to clock what you're doing, but you shouldn't have to go like for you to go so long. And a regular person picks up their phone at least 233 times a day, whether it's to look at the time, look at their screen, go into their phone and do some sort of business. It don't matter. So for you to not maneuver through life as if you don't have a phone or don't ever pick your phone, it was like somebody's gonna have a problem with that when they're trying to reach you. So just like something like that, they jump to conclusions. Like it's a bunch of telltale signs. Like it's
right. And it's I don't know. It's just a little bit of respect, I think, to just let somebody know that you okay if you know that you got people in your life who care about you, right? Like just letting them know that you're good. I mean, what's so wrong with that? Like I do hear I mean, it's not like a man or woman thing. I just hear from people when it comes to that. They really feel like they're being controlled by a person really wanting to know if they're good or not. Like somebody really has, you know, good intentions for you. And then there are people who are just nosy as shit. Like you, but you know that though. I don't know who don't know that in their life. And I think the people who know they nosy know people know that about them. They just act like they not. We know you being nosy. So like, no. But then there's certain people in your life that you know genuinely care about you. So why wouldn't you give them that respect to let them know that you're good, yo? You know what I mean? Kev, what's going on, yo?
Man, y'all know me fighting crime, man. So I had to come back.
Back. Yeah. You fresh up. I can tell you folded your cape up. I just saw you fold your cape up before you got on and shit. Yo. So
saving them hoes. Saving them hoes.
Right. So yeah, but look, check this out. So I want to say this too, because like, you know, Sunshine, you made it, you know, the way that you describe it, because in some other instances, you know, a lot of people deal with it personally, like when it comes to domestic violence, right? Like There's a lot of people who deal with it personally to the sense of they're being physically abused. But for you, it was a childhood thing that you saw growing up. It was almost like a thing that if you didn't run away or if your mother didn't tell y'all to grab those trash bags, that might have been a life that you might have thought was normal and might have even accepted it for yourself. So when it come back to saying, what do we do for them kids in that situation? Yeah, that's one of the biggest things right there is the example that we showing them. Because, yo, who in the world would normalize? Like, how many of us normalize trauma? Like, on a regular basis, we normalize trauma every day.
So when it comes to like me and just a man, like you can't, like if you raise your voice at me,
Right.
it triggers something. If
Gotcha.
you loud to it triggers something because that's what I grew up. My dad arguing, you know, raising his voice at my mom or raising his hand. So if I feel like you're attempting, because I was in a relationship like that where I felt like he was gonna get there. So that's why I had to remove myself out of the situation because I just felt like he had that abusive tendency in him. So
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
removed myself out of the situation.
You know what I was thinking? So me, I want to ask you because like I know like for you because like you very seldom raise your like you be in the skits raising your voice. You do that, but like on a regular though, you got like this really mellow tone to you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like so. Is that a trigger for you when somebody is aggressively loud? Because I don't know because you have such a mellow tone. I mean, is that a form of a trigger to you too?
It is because you guys hear me with the mellow voice, and that's good because when it gets to a different octave, it's not good. It's not safe for anybody around. So that's why I don't get mad very often. Like I wait. I really let it build. Like we got to get there because when y'all see my face change, you'll get a clue though. My face is gonna change first. I can't tell you what it looks like, but you'll know it when you see it. Like
Gotcha.
it will not be it'll be undeniable for sure. But yeah, I can't do the yelling and the back and forth. I mean, I do get angry at times, and I do yell sometimes, but hearing it first, hearing somebody, especially a male voice, I don't know, it's that bass. They got too much bass in their voice. And so if I hear a man raising his voice at me, like it triggers something different in me. Because now it's
like me, because I'll tell him, like, you just went up an octave. I told somebody the other day, you just went up another octave. Like, calm down. Come back down.
You at a 10, bring it to a 2.
Bring it back.
I gotta match you, because now we battling for sound.
I'm gonna ask because I got to. I'm gonna ask. So Kev, let me say this because there are times as a man when you have to, get your point across. You know what I mean? When it comes to women, because they'll out talk you, they'll over talk you, they'll listen and respond, and then every now and then you might have to put a little bass in your voice to get the check a couple. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you don't want me to get to that octave, then you gotta make sure you help me not go there. So let me ask you, Kev. So how is that affected to you? Like, does that trigger you when you like in the sense of talking to a woman and she doesn't give you the sort of respect that you would appreciate in order for you not to want to raise your voice in order to get your point across?
So I've matured a lot over the years. I just want to preface it by saying that because like I used to like to argue, like I had to be right and that was it. And you was gonna listen to everything I had to say. But now I don't like to argue. So if I'm talking to you and you're not getting what I'm saying, I'm just gonna get quiet. And if you keep on going, I'm gonna go ahead and move around because there's, what I'm saying? I learned a long time ago, there's only two type of problems. There's no problems, N-O, and then no problems, K-N-O-W.
Right.
So if you just don't know, let me inform you. And after I've done that, and we right back in the same place, then you're telling me no, I don't care what you said. Right. Two different type of problems: lack of knowledge and then lack of respect. So I'm not about to go back and forth with you.
Sidebar, so I thought that was an extremely beautiful point. I want to touch bases on that. But who raised you? Because every time we talk about something, you always say, well, wise man always told me.
He had a
Where you
guru,
meet these
y'all.
wise motherfuckers at, yo?
You know,
he got a guru for a great uncle, yo. Y'all know.
Everything.
listen.
Oh, you telling me we need to
listen.
give a seminar or something? 'cause
Yeah,
we need-
I mean,
TED Talks. Like, but no. Back to the topic, and I fucks with that. I fucks with that. And you know what? I feel like as a person in general, you shouldn't have to raise your voice to get your point across. I do feel like, because for me personally, don't overtalk me. If I don't want you overtalking me, I'm not gonna overtalk you, for one.
Yes.
Two, how am I gonna know how to? Because if we're holding a conversation, I'm not just doing it just to hear my own voice. I don't even like to play back my own calls because I hate how I sound. I don't do it just to hear my voice, and I don't want to do it just to hear your voice. I don't like to waste time. If we want to sit here and have a conversation about something that need to be resolved, we need to be able to properly articulate at a proper tone, and you should be able to convey that message without you hooting and hollering like you're a fucking child. Let's talk about it. So I would like to show my man that same mutual respect. Now I understand emotions fly high. I get it, but at the end of the day, you should be able to check yourself and realize that in order for you to get your point across, you need to be able to bring it down a few octaves. Okay. So I do agree with you. You know, men that have to raise their voice, women, how you gonna know how to properly respond to your man to resolve the issue? Not his issue, but it could be your issue as well. If you won't even shut the fuck up long enough for that man to talk. Same thing with men. If how you gonna really resolve our issue if you just responded to respond because you just want to get your shit off? You got to be quiet. And not only that, let them be able to fully get their shit out. Okay. And it takes 3 seconds for you to even process anything, for you to even properly answer a question. So if you shooting off shit in the middle of their statement, how do you even listen to anything they saying? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Hey man, fuck all that. Fuck all that.
Right, like,
yeah.
Oh, you won't hear that shit. Like, what are we talking about? I'm with you, Kev, baby. I'm not gonna waste my time.
Yeah,
It's a fine line, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna walk. I'll be good because you don't get it. So for me, you don't need to yell at me to get your point across. You don't need to do none of that shit. Come to me in a calm tone because I know if you take a day or you take it to hell, I'm gonna take it to hell too, baby. And that's not a healthy environment to breathe. I'm not trying to do that shit. Like if we're gonna get something resolved, this is what we need to do. If not, and you feel like you want to be on your high horse because you got an issue with articulating yourself, your emotions, your words, or whatever the case is, you can either let me help you or we can part ways so you can go figure that shit out on your own. But I'm here to help. I'm not here to harm you. Don't waste your time because I'm not wasting mine. So I don't know. It's depend on the mindset when you get into these little relationships and shit.
Yeah.
Well, yo, listen, communication. It always goes back to communication, yo.
Yes.
We talked about love languages last week, and one of the things was, you know, we understand that people have a certain type that they gravitate to when it comes to the 5. But you know, I said it when we talked with Coach Erica. I was like, listen, I think communication needs to be the 6th one. I think it needs to be one of the love languages because that's the one thing that's going to help you get through all the other 5 is being able to communicate it. Like you cannot have a conversation with a person that is not willing to understand. If they only want to respond because of what they're hearing, then that's it. So Sunshine, this is why I want to ask you, because you know, based on that, whenever people, because a trigger, we was, you know, back to the thing about a trigger, because that's what it's really about. It's like what will trigger a person to either get defensive or feel like, you know, this ain't gonna be right, like something may go the wrong way, because you know, you know, CJ was saying, like, it's only but so much you can do before a person reverts back to when they was a kid. Like, especially if they're trying to mature, like Kev said, like, if they're trying to change and mature in the way that they handle conflict, but you're not willing to change who you are as a person, you're going to trigger them, yo. And you're going to put them in a position where they might got to go to the reflection of how they grew up. Because that they might go back, and that's where a lot of domestic violence stems from. Because then there's some men out here, like, I ain't gonna lie, there's some men who just prey on certain people that they could do certain things to. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie, act like it's always it's the woman's fault for. I can't do that, yo. Look, I see, yo, dudes they be trying to find the people that they could do that to. You know what I mean? It's a form of control. But I also see how people do the mental abuse too. Way more than the physical, yo. Oh man, they be having people feeling like they ain't nothing without them, yo.
And those scars are harder to heal than the ones. I'd rather get punched in my eyeball. Punch me in my eye. Please. Got my shit because
it's like when you was a kid, they say you want the punishment or you want the ass whooping?
Ass whooping. Give me the ass
whooping. Because I don't want to be in here for a week.
Right.
I'm right outside after that.
But let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a second then, y'all. Like how, when it comes to that, like mental abuse too is a part of it too. Like how do we put that into a perspective where we could deal with that? Because that's triggering too, I think.
So
as much as the violent part.
Well, if you look at like, I won't say kids, but teenagers and 20, young adults, a lot of domestic violence start there, and it's not physical, it's mental, because, growing in, just say in our 20s, 19, 20s, as women, we start dating somebody, we fall hard. We think, a man is our world, blah, blah, blah. It's that mental abuse, because I remember when I broke up with my first boyfriend, we was dating from high school to 20s. I think when we broke up, he told me, I will never find anybody better than him.
Gotcha.
But what is better?
What was he talking about?
That shit always make me laugh.
You find out somebody better than you.
Yes. Like, men have a funny way of saying things, and they make you second guess yourself. Like, what? Like, why do you think you can say that? Or why do you think you're the best? So I just think mental abuse is like Mika said, it's worse. It's worse than physical, because now you're playing with my intelligence. Now you think I'm dumb. Now you playing with my intelligence. And that's the one thing I hate, for somebody to play with my intelligence to make you think that you all I have and you all that I can get. Because after we broke up, that's when I started to elevate. So I did much better than you. I elevated because why are you shaking your head, Kev? Because I elevated.
Can't let that happen. Gotta keep you grounded. You know what I'm saying?
Kev, like, yo, I'm showing up to the first date. You
showing up. We on the date.
For this spot. He gonna work for this date.
So that's what I'm saying. So it make us go harder. So when you tell me I can't do nothing without you, or I can't get better, it's just fuel to the fire, and it's gonna make me go harder, and it's gonna make me elevate. And I always so it was a lot happened with that situation, and I think I didn't talk to him for like 4 or 5 years. He called me back 5 years later, 1 o'clock in the morning, from a private number, apologizing. But
yeah, so you know what I'm saying. I'm my bad. I probably.
I grew up since then. I'm in church.
You was right. I should have been listening to you back then.
Yes.
Right.
Let me talk to that lady.
I was talking to the pastor, right? Well, my bad, my bishop. Because I got a bishop now.
And you know what I'm saying, but if you ain't doing nothing, maybe we
you still like lasagna? You still like lasagna? Because that's your favorite? Because Carrabba's got a sell. I wanted to see if you want
2 for 1. Like,
yeah, I get that 2 for 1. You used to
like good job.
Yeah, man.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They hear about you. They'll hear about you in the streets, how you in the elevator, and they try to slide back in. No.
Loser.
Yeah, that's a people thing. That's definitely a people thing. It's not a gender thing. I can definitely say that. It's some stupid. It's your person. It's a personality thing, because it's a lot of women who consider themselves that too. Not in the sense of men versus women. I'm just saying, like, it go both ways when it comes to that. Like, people really think that without them, a person is not going to do better. Yes. And sometimes you only hear as an elevation for a person, or a lesson for a person to learn something from, so they can be better. Like, everybody got a chapter, everybody got a story, but some people just meant to be in a chapter. You're not meant to be at the end, You just got a chapter or two. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of they take that for granted.
And I'm gonna ask you, who the fuck do you think you are, and do you know who the fuck I am? Let me tell you something. It took a lot for me to build this confidence to where I'm at. So everybody look at it like, let me tell you something. I know what I tried. I attract good spirits. I attract good people.
Mhm.
Let me tell you, okay? I know my standards, preference. You know, we talked about that, y'all.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm not finna score a nigga that's better than you is outrageous. That's insane, baby. You tripping. You know who you're tripping. You know my spirit. You tripping. You tripping, bye.
Well, hey, you look, that's the energy. Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay. I mean, but I think Sunshine. So my question is, if you done did this glow up after me, why couldn't you do that with me?
Because you was holding me back,
You
nigga.
ready to call me
Your energy wasn't where it needed
Why
to
y'all
be.
jumping?
Like,
Why y'all-
no,
why
but
y'all-
that's the answer. Like,
But why y'all
it's
jumping them though, me?
you can't
No,
elevate.
no,
You
so
can't
let me
elevate
answer
with
that,
some
because-
people.
Because he probably thought that. So this is the thing. He had glowed up. He had glowed up with me. And you want to know how? Because when we broke up, so when we broke up, so we had been together for so long. Sometimes when you together and not married, it's like you married, because we had just bought a house. You know, he was a dog. We just bought a house. You know, I had to put him out the house, all of that. You know, it was between you keep this, I keep this. I said, well, I want to keep the house. You keep the business, because he had a business. We had got a business. But you want to know why? I helped him with the business. I helped him get the business. I helped him do all of that. You want to know why I let him keep the business and I kept the house? Because I knew without me, the business was going to go under. You know what? 4 months later, he went bankrupt. So,
So listen.
What?
So I might have misjudged it a little bit.
She said,
no,
what?
like CJ said, I know what I attract, and I know what I can do when I get with that person. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you gotta be careful, because with me, we can break up. I'm good. Like, I'm not begging anybody to be with them, because if I want to be with somebody, I can go find me some. I'm not begging you to be. But what you don't need to do is burn your bridges with certain people, because you're gonna need that person back. Because I'm not a bad person. I'm a Cancer. I love hard. I'm the sweetest person. But when you cross me, that's it. So that was it. When you crossed me, and the biggest thing with that relationship, it wasn't that he cheated. It wasn't that he had all of these things going on. My mom passed away. He didn't come to her funeral. He had this whole lie. Y'all lie. Men lie. Y'all just do dumb stuff. Y'all just lie.
Yo,
Dumb lie.
how we all get
we
wrapped
all
up in his mess? Go ahead, talk about fam. Go ahead, get back on fam, because we
Isolate
ain't eating
him.
no fam plate. Yo, go ahead with that, yo.
The lie is I don't do funerals. What?
Whoa, wait a minute.
Well,
No.
hey, you never know. No, hold
That's the
on.
thing.
You know, remember you said earlier about what people go through when they little. What if they used to make him sleep in a graveyard as punishment when he was little?
Okay, because no.
I'm just saying, you just never know. People do mean shit, yo. They make kids go in closets in the dark, because you know they do things to kids, yo.
You know why?
And,
what was
and
the reason why?
He might have lived next to he might have grew up next to a cemetery.
His new boo told him not to go to the funeral. It wasn't that he didn't do funeral, because his uncle
why
died.
you ain't say that?
I didn't say that.
She was getting there. She didn't get that far.
That's why I said don't cut people off. Just shut the fuck up.
I was getting there, Kev. I was getting there. That we do some of the dumbest stuff. So when I told you he called me back 5 years later, oh, I just want to apologize for not coming to the funeral. Well, you need to pray to God and my mama, because you don't owe me the apology. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Hey, yo, mama. My bad, yo. I was immature back then, yo.
But he, you know, you hear on the street or you see me and you be like 5 years later, like, damn, she doing good. Damn, let me get back in her life. Let me hit her up. No.
Let me fuck her life
because
up.
you could have still been friends.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck her life up.
Yeah. Fuck her life up. All he had to do was go to the funeral. He'd have still been your friend after that. Yo.
That's it. You could have still been my
Wrapping
friend.
up your family. You know they love me.
We were together from 15 to late 20s. So we were family. Family. No matter if we didn't make it, we were still family. And I always tell people, if you couldn't value my friendship, if you can't value a relationship, you damn sure can't be my friend. So we can't be friends because you did all of that. So, and that's why I say, you know, don't lie. I tell anybody, just it's not worth lying. Just tell somebody the truth. A woman, we may spaz out or something for the moment, but eventually we'll understand. Kev, why are you frowning up like that? We will understand.
Now
Hey,
you, now,
the
you see,
It
viewpoint,
just takes a minute. It takes
the
a minute.
viewpoints expressed here are not.
right.
It take a minute.
Because you know how you group, you see how you
Oh,
group, you see how you grouped all of us men in a negative space, but then you grouped all of you ladies in a positive space. You see that?
It's
Now,
woman
you see-
empowerment.
you see-
It's woman
no, but I'm just
empowerment.
Is
saying,
it that
though,
month?
think,
Oh,
think
my bad.
about this
Women
though.
Empowerment Month.
This is
Right.
how. This is. I mean, we having fun, so we good. So, but let me just say that this is
Mhm.
how miscommunications happen between men and women, because what they do is they do have some sort of competition in between when it comes to who do what versus who don't. Because if there's always a person that a person can find for the thing that happened to them. So for example, you had a boyfriend that said, "Oh, I don't do funerals," then you got somebody who said, "I don't do hospitals." You know what I mean? And you got a person who say, "I don't do," so it's definitely a personality thing. But here's the thing: when we start to group each other into saying that it's a gender thing, that's where we get a lot of things confused at. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying because at the end of the day, um, honesty works both ways, and some people don't hear the truth either. They hear what they want. Some people got their
They need
own
the
version
version,
of the
right?
definition. Some people make their own definition up for words that are in the Webster for that definition, not yours. So that's why a lot of times when it comes to the honesty thing, a lot of people say they want that. I'm gonna say this. A lot of people claim they want honesty, but when you give it to them, so then you're attacking, you're because a person is very hard for them to understand that there is a cause and effect for everybody. They expect us as men, because we're men, to be able to take anything on the chest, anything on the head, and just go with it. Like emotions is not something that we have to fight to control ourselves. You know what I mean? A lot of us are not raised in a way where we get to learn how to be emotionally intelligent. Some of us are raised to just say like, "Yo, put that shit in your pocket," and
So I have
then
a
when
question. I have a question.
she
Because
didn't she tell me that we listen to respond, they jump in. Didn't she tell me that? Didn't she just say shit? No, I'm just playing. Go
She
ahead,
got a
CJ.
question. So
I
you
want
Go
to
ahead,
be
go ahead.
Question
I
it.
want to finish my point though. Y'all chill. Go ahead though.
hold
I'm
on,
just
my
playing. Go ahead.
apologies.
Nah, go ahead. No, I'm just saying. Remember you just told me to shut the fuck up a little while ago, right? I ain't gonna do you the same way because they're gonna think I'm being violent. Go ahead though.
It's okay. You right.
Go ahead
You
though.
right.
Go ahead.
It's fair. You right. You right. But this is just trying to get an understanding, because I hear people say that a lot. And me, I'm the type of person where I'm, be honest with me. Be honest. Now, I think that, well, I'm not gonna say I think, when you're being honest and that person then respond, are they solely focused on the fact that now they feel attacked and now the conversation has shifted to them being defensive? Or is it that they're responding to what you're saying, but you're still coming to a conclusion as to whatever the basis of your argument, the conversation, whatever, are they just emotionally responding, or are they just straight out being defensive? Because to me, I feel like once you've been honest with somebody, you can be honest with me. I can sit here all day long and tell you I'm not gonna take offense, but if you're telling me something that kind of hit, it's like, ooh, okay, all right, I got that guy sitting a little bit. Hold on, real quick, but we still gonna get to the basis of whatever the issue is. I'm not gonna then turn defensive, because I need to see from your point of view why you feel the way you feel based on why you've been honest. So is it that they're responding emotionally, or is it that they're taking the trajectory of now being defensive, and that's why you feel like most people can't handle being, taking honesty, although they
Well, that's a fact right now. You broke that down. That's definitely part of it. Yeah, people they, like I said, they ask for the truth, they want the truth, but then when you give it to them, then they get defensive about it, because a lot of people don't like to be corrected. So in the sense of a thing that's going on in your life, right? You'll say something, a person will say, "Yo, well, you're not doing X, Y, and Z no more." And then you can tell them, like, "Would you like to know why I don't?"
Right.
And then if they say and then you tell them why, and then they automatically get into, "But you do, and I do, and you." It's like, well, hold on though. I
Okay.
thought you was talking about this. If you asking me about this
Okay.
and you asking me why I don't X, Y, and Z, and I'm telling you why, you can't take my answer for why and say it's not that. It's gotta
Okay.
be something.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
And what
That's
is- if you really want the truth, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let y'all rock because I see y'all cooking over there. But if you really want the truth, you gotta be willing to accept it and not be willing to argue over it. Because when you tell me something about me and you say that this is something that make you feel that way, first of all, I'm gonna apologize for making you feel that way, even if I didn't do that to you on purpose. But because you feel some type of way, I'm gonna apologize first off. Very few people can apologize for making a person feel a type of way if they feel like they didn't do it on purpose. It's a character flaw. This is something that I'm saying that it's a people thing, not a male versus women thing. This is a
Right.
person thing, personality. You got to have a personality of wanting to be a problem solver. And most people don't have that thing in them. They got I'm a defense mechanism. They got this thing about their past where they feel like anytime somebody says something to them that they don't like, it's an attack. No, it could be correction. You go in the military, you play a sport, you do anything organized, somebody gonna correct you. And now your man or whoever in your life that got to share everything with you, protect you, lay his life down. I can't correct you. You got to be kidding me. You want me to do everything that involves your life. The same thing I got to do for my mother, my grandmother, my sisters, everything. I got to do the same thing for you, lay my life down for you, but I can't correct you. Then what difference is, why am I here?
Facts.
So that's what I'm saying when it comes to that, y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with whether you want the truth or not. It's that, are you going to be able to take it when it's given to you and not take the fence? Because you got to be able to understand, like, yo, ain't nobody perfect. So, yeah, you're going to do stuff that I know I do. I know I do stuff that make people. So if you tell me that, yo, listen, my bad.
So sometimes it's the play on words. It's the you don't do this anymore. It versus when you have a conversation, it's, hey, remember when you used to do this? It made me feel like this. So being that you don't do it anymore, this is why we're this. So it's all about the delivery of the message also. So it's the way we deliver the message. So man, woman, whatever. Because sometimes as women, our tongue is vicious. We're vicious with our tongue.
Not the good kind either, like vicious. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're vicious with we know how to push buttons, but it's all about to get the right reaction from a man or a woman, whoever. It's the delivery in the message. So when I say I like honesty, it's how you deliver the message to me or how you deliver the constructive feedback to me. I don't want it to hurt. I don't want it to be little, it's to be in a belittle meaning. I want it to be constructive towards me. And I need to be able to, like CJ said, I need to be able to sit in that moment and I need to be able to listen to what you say before I respond to it so we can have an adult conversation. But I have with men and women, but definitely in relationships where men will shut down.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking because I date men. So men shut down. So when you try to have that conversation, men shut down when they don't want to hear the truth or they don't want you to tell them that they're hurting you or they hurted you. Why did they hurt you? Why did you do these things? When you start to have those in-depth conversations where somebody owe you an answer, we don't want to have those conversations. So I think it's all about the delivery of the message versus, us not being
and you should know how to talk to your partner. You should know what's going to trigger them. You should know those words in the delivery that you need to give, especially if you want to if your goal is to have a constructive conversation, then don't come at them in a way that is going to trigger them. Yeah, it's about tact. You got to deliver it. You want them to hear you. You want them to understand you, so they can't understand you if you're yelling at them. If you're giving it to them in a hostile way that is meant to trigger them. Like, you can tell the word you use if it's going to trigger somebody and the way you say it, and there shouldn't even be that miscommunication. If you're in a long-term relationship, you should be able to confront and correct your partner in a way that they can receive it and understand it, instead of feeling like, now I got to yell at you because you coming at me crazy.
As soon as we call y'all and be like, I need to talk, y'all
No, because I feel like, and they're right, because I think people misconstrue the concept of being honest or raw or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, you have to understand that there's levels to this shit. It's not only what you saying, it's how you saying. The same way how you'll walk into a room at your job and you'll convey and deliver your message a certain way. It's code switching. You're gonna do that same thing when you're talking to your friends and you're trying to deliver and convey something a certain way. And the same thing you're doing that with your spouse. So at the end of the day, I think people misconstrue that entire concept and not take into consideration that how you're conveying your message in order for that person to receive it is just as important as to what you're saying in order for someone to not mistake what you're saying. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's a situation where, hey, I've been bringing this to your attention time and time again, years and years at a time, and if you just so happen to catch me yelling, it's because, bitch, I'm tired. That's just what it is. But at that point, you need to not listen to the volume, but listen to the message.
Yes.
Like certain points, we do need to understand and decipher that we need to listen to the message and not necessarily to the volume. But if you just jumping off the track, hot baby, and you think you finna come in and you be Blake, like, nah, we're not gonna do that because I'm not gonna do that shit to you. I'm gonna give you the same mutual respect. Do that for me. Because if I know that it's I can't come at you, I can come at some guys and and they'll be able to tone out how I'm saying it and actually listen to what I'm saying because they can see, oh, she passionate. But it takes a different type of guy to do that type shit. But those men are out there versus those that can't do that. I'm not saying, hey, be a whiz at it, but you just have to understand how important it is, how you deliver and convey your message in order to get your fucking point across. It's just that simple, guys.
Yeah, and that's true. And just remember, though, a lot of times, people, depending on, like you said, when it comes to the difference between men and women, depending on the type of relationships they have with men, you say raising your voice I think is a trigger for everybody. I think men and women alike. Like raising your voice is going to be a trigger. That's it. People don't want to get yelled at. People don't want to get made to look like they getting sunned and little boys and little girls and shit like that, especially when you're an adult.
Yes.
The point is, though, however you ask a question for whatever clarity you need, you got to be willing to be prepared for the answer.
Yes.
You cannot ask a person and expect the answer to go the way you want it to go. And I think, regardless, which is really important, what y'all said about the delivery, about how you say what you say to a person, the tone you use, the octaves you're in, the opportunity only comes up. Now, I see that in most situations, people wait until they're already mad about something to bring up a conversation that comes off to be something they want to be serious versus it being a time where you can actually process some things and come back and then like, listen, I was thinking about this and have this conversation. Some people have this thing in them where they flesh boils, you know what I mean? Like it's eating away at them. They got to talk about it right then and there. And in those moments when they do that, it's like those people really want to just get their shit off. They're not really concerned about what you may give them back for the reasons why they feel that way. And that's a thing that gets me about when it comes to communication. Everybody wants truth, but they don't want to accept it. Now, like I said, y'all made great points about the delivery and all that, but let's just say that the delivery is just the way it needs to be. It's in the right tone. It's in the right everything that you need to have a communication. But if a person doesn't feel like they need any type of correction, or if they feel like they are, because no one else has ever told them that before. How many times have y'all heard something from a person you had to tell them something? They say, well, nobody else never told me that before. There's a lot of people walking around here think they got some good stuff and they don't.
See, the thing is, somebody told them. They just didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, they just didn't want to
hear it. Somebody told them. There's no way.
Somebody was in there swimming for about an hour and you don't get the message. Like, damn, he ain't finished yet. No, this is terrible. But but nobody never really gave this person that thing. They just walked around here and they really think that because of how they look or whatever, that makes them like, yo, this thing is fire, and it ain't. But you can't tell them it ain't fire. Why? Because nobody else ain't never told them it was fire.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime back in. One of the comments was about effective communication, and it seems like you guys have all kind of touched on that. It's all about the approach. Y'all gotta mind my voice. Just give me a second.
Going through puberty.
I'm gonna say, what you? Oh,
yeah, you see the beard hair growing in, like
No, you
growing up.
That protein got you right. Yeah.
That's what we doing
do.
in front of company. That's what we doing.
They wild, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's just about effective communication, and it's really hard because sometimes people don't. Like we get back to the whole honesty thing. You know, honesty is the best policy. There's certain things that in certain times that is like, yo, it's not a good time to have this conversation. If a person is raw in their emotions, you can't have that conversation. You can't have a serious conversation when a person's raw in their emotions because they're transferring a lot of energy. And no matter what you say, it doesn't matter because they feel the way they feel. And it has them in a sunken place where it doesn't matter what you say because it's not going to fix how I feel right now. No matter how much sense it might make, that's not what I want to hear right now. What I want to hear you do is apologize. Well, I don't know. Somebody give me a situation that I can use that I'm not going to apologize. Like I don't eat pork, right? And we go to your family cookout and somebody put a slab of ribs on my plate. Baby, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that. Oh, well, it's rude that they served you food and you didn't eat it. I'm not going against my morals and my principles to please you and some strangers. That's what I'm saying. So like, that's the thing. Like, it's something that for me, if you know me, it makes complete sense. But if you are in an emotional space, my reasoning is not going to make sense to you because I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that because, you know, Nancy's boyfriend did this. I'm not Nancy's boyfriend.
Right.
Your girlfriend's fucking delusional. You need a new bitch. Yeah.
I don't
like this unethical ass people. I can't stand it because it make it hard for somebody that want to do good because you the wrong motherfucker. And you can't even take the fact that you the wrong motherfucker. So you making the good shit that I'm doing seem like it's bad shit. Bitch, get on. You need a new bitch.
Yeah. Hey. It's a lot of things that need to be new.
It's a lot of things that need to be fixed. And I just think that with two people communicating, you have to be in a place where you can be receptive. And if you can't be receptive, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? People criticize me all the time. It's perfectly fine. I posted on my status the other day, like, your opinion of me, it's important to you. It's irrelevant to me.
Yes.
I don't base my self-confidence or anything on what people think about me.
Right.
You either take the time to understand me and who I am and why I approach things the way I do, and you have an appreciation for it, or you move the fuck around.
Great.
Right.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to change nothing. Like Ra was saying, like, as a man, you're expected to put your life on the line. Let a person step out of line with any woman in my life. Like, it's all the way on 10, day one, the very first conversation. She ain't got to say nothing to you. I'm going to say it to you. Like, because that's how I was raised. But then you put me in a situation where if you're wrong, like, I'm going to protect you in public. I got to correct you in private. Hey, you probably shouldn't have popped off at dude like that. You know, I don't know what happened, blah, 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 blah. But next time, let's handle it like this. You know what I'm saying? But you can't be raw in the emotions. Like, you can't be raw in the emotions and just be like, well, you should, you know, regardless of if I'm wrong or right. Like, nah, I was raised right from wrong. But I also was raised to protect the women in my life. So I'm going to do that regardless. But I have to set the correct actions because there are people who are no longer breathing because they did the right thing for the wrong person in the wrong situation.
That's a fact. You
know what I'm saying? So it's just, you know, that's why I try to be very clear in things that are very important to me. I'm very clear. I'm very clear. And no matter how many times you ask me the same question, no matter how many ways you ask that question, you're going to get the same answer because this answer is who I am. Like, I can't change that. And, you know, people want you to change and they want you to feel the way that they feel. There's a difference between empathy and sympathy.
Yes.
There's a difference. So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't feel the way that you feel. You can't transfer those feelings and those emotions to me. Right. But I understand where you're coming from. You know,
I just don't feel that way. Yeah.
I just don't feel that way. You know, and I've been in sales a long time. So, like, you know, feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. Other people have felt that way before. But what I found, like, they teach you that. Like, it's understanding where a person's coming from and then being able to find some common ground, some type of compromise. but there's, it's tough, and relationships are tough, because it's not like we enter a situation fully knowing a person. You know what I'm saying? You sitting here, nowadays people scrolling, oh, I matched with this person, let's go out. Or people out, you see somebody out, you find them attractive. Just because they're attracted, I don't mean that they mind is.
Nah,
That don't mean that they mannerisms is. That don't mean that they know how to treat you just because you like the way they look.
and that don't mean they're not a serial killer on the low just because they look good.
Right.
Not that ass, yo. So because you gotta think about it, you made a lot of good points though, Kev, and people got to be receptive. I think the number one thing is you got to be receptive. A couple of things is, the warning signs of a person who is not going to be receptive. A person who always likes to have serious conversations when they're drinking. That's the number one sign of you not in the right space, B. This is not going to turn out for you. Another thing I wanted to do, so we could talk a little bit more about so Sunshine, we gotta get into a few other things that you got going on real quick. So I know that you have something going on with the gala, and I know you're raising money for a reason right now, right? That is to help with things that's involved with domestic violence. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is it as a fundraiser exactly? And
what I'm doing is a donation drive.
Donation drive, right?
It's a donation drive. So what we're doing is raising on-demand goods. So the domestic violence shelter, they need certain things for, the people in the shelter, their families. So you have, most of them are women and their kids. They need toiletry. They need, just say, in Georgia, we have MARTA. They need MARTA cards. They need monetary donation, just things like that while they're in the shelter. So on October 28th, we're doing a big donation drive for the community to come through and donate some of those goods. But then also on October 21st, we're partnering with Sister Empowerment Network for this 5K walk. And at that 5K walk, we always do a balloon release. And in that balloon release, we call out all the names of the victims who died the previous year of domestic violence. You have people that's died, you have bystanders. So when we talk about people jumping into situation and they may die as well. So you have bystanders, because a lot of time bystanders are killed during domestic violence situation. So it's a part of the program where we call out all of the victims as well as people who probably was trying to help that person who got killed as well. So it's a portion in that program where we call out those names and do a balloon release for that person. So those are the things. Yeah. In the last couple of weeks, we did live talks. So similar to this podcast, we did live talks. So we've talked to city officials last week. We interviewed the mayor and police just to know what their involvement as community leaders as it relates to domestic violence. Like, what's their role in the community when it comes to this? Like, what are we doing? How are we, talking to the community from a law enforcement perspective? What are we doing when it comes to law enforcement? How do you determine who's wrong? So we hosted a self-defense class a couple weeks ago. We talked to a couple of officers, and the officer basically was saying, hey, when they go to a domestic violence situation, they have to assess the situation. They have to assess who have bruises, talk to witnesses just to determine whose fault it was. So sometimes it can be the man, sometimes it can be the woman. They'll never know until they assess the entire situation. Right. And when we talk about the situation, it was one incident that we talked about on one of the lives where this young lady, she had been abused by her boyfriend or something like that. So she ended up shooting him and killing him. But she ended up going to jail. She went to jail because she didn't document any of the past violence. So it wasn't anything documented on when, how many times she was abused or how many times he abused her or how many times they got into it, or no pictures were taken, never went to the doctor, never went to the police station. So she ended up killing them and she ended up going to jail. So we've talked about things like that. What do you need to do as it relates to documentation and just things like that?
No, that's big. Mm-hmm. No, that's big. That's big. That's especially the part when y'all help the bystanders, like for people who actually get involved and try to help these people get out of these situations, and they wind up falling victim too, because they're advocating for the person.
So we actually taught them about like what, as a bystander, what's your role, what to do if you witness these things. So that's conversations that we had just for bystanders and things like that. Because a crazy person is a crazy person. They don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Who the person is. They're crazy. Yeah.
So let me ask you something. So in the event, did they give y'all any type of answers? So for example, do they say women report it or get a restraining order? Like what is the, like what should they do in the beginning to protect themselves against maybe like what happened to the person you were just talking about, shooting somebody?
So basically, like documenting. So one of the officers said one of the things he do when he goes to domestic violence like situations, depending, no matter who it is, he do an extensive documentation. So it's not just generic. He extensively documented. So when you ever have to go to court or come back to those things, or even when like if the person kills someone and now they're on trial, if you have all this documentation leading up, then that person can get, tried at the maximum level versus, saying that, oh, it was self-defense because she hit me. You need that documentation so you can prove, what actually happened. So those were basically a lot of the things that we discussed and we talked about.
Okay.
So just talking about it, like we need to talk about it more. We may talk about it in forums like this, but how often have you and Kev or you and your homeboy sat around and you talked about like, man, that was fucked up what my homeboy did to his girl, he smacked the shit out of her. Like, do we actually tell our friends that they're wrong? Like, do we actually say, hey, you might have like that was wrong. You might have shouldn't have did that, or you might need to get help. Like, do we have those conversations with our friends, or do we say, like, if I had a friend that was in a domestic violence situation, do we talk to them? Like, do we try to get them help, or what do we turn the other cheek? Like, what is it that we actually do?
No, we do. We had a show
Yeah.
a few weeks. We was talking about that. We was talking about like it's a one slap minimum. Like, if a dude show up, like if I show up to my boy crib and he slap his girl, he can only slap her one time because I don't know a slap coming. He can't fight her, he can't beat her up, but he got a one slap minimum. Now that one slap is going to cause a conversation. First of all, it's going to be broke up and all that. But yeah, we do have those conversations with our boys because see, technically it goes a little different for us. Like unlike how it is when it comes to like women and men, like for men, like once we assess the situation and once we acknowledge that, yo, fam, you foul or whatever, we stop fucking with fam. Yeah. Now, I can't say that that's a good or bad thing because, like, to maybe the woman, she might be like, yo, why would you stop being his friend? Try to be his friend so you can stop him from doing that. But then, no, it transfers over when it's a violence against women, it transfers over. Now I've become like I'm fighting with you over your woman. Now I'm fighting over your girl.
Right.
Like so I can't, like, that's not my girl. Like, yo, but she's a woman, so it's like I have to have a balance there. You know what I mean? So we stop fucking with them. So I think for us, men will lose friends with other men by doing that to their girls versus it being the fact that that's going to stop them from doing what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, they need somebody to find out, like, yo, listen, fam, did you used to get beat up as a kid? Or what did your mom used to, did you grow up witnessing that? What is the fact, or why do you feel like that's your route when it comes to a person? What did this person do to make you feel like you want to do this to them? And why are you still with them if you feel like you got to do this to them? Like, what respect are you looking for? Like, these are questions that you gotta ask. Like, we ask these dudes, yo. Like, I know I do. Like, if I find a situation like that, I'm asking, like, yo, fam, like, what's the real deal? Like, why are you slapping shorty, yo? Why is you choking her? Some people don't even get the punches and the bruises. They get choked out. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on with you? Be like, why is that your thing when it comes to a woman?
And then we just gotta think like what gets you to a point where you want to kill a person, where you want to kill the person that you say you love. Like what gets you to that place?
Possession, I think.
possession and jealousy, and that's what I was just about to say. We as humans have jealous, we have jealous spirits and jealous hearts. You know, and one of the ladies we talked to on one of our lives, she spoke about how and she actually have a organization now. It's called the Austin Tyler Foundation, and she talked about how she was moving to Atlanta from Augusta, Georgia, and she told her son's father that, you know, she wanted to move. He said that she was moving to come be with another man, which it was not. She was offered a job. So they were supposed to meet to have a conversation at her son's daycare. He went and picked the son up out of daycare, basically kidnapped him out of the daycare, basically, because he held him hostage.
Wow.
So they had a conversation, argument in the parking lot. He shot her. The bullet went through like her side and her breast, but he ended up killing the son. And then he killed himself. So that's why the organization is called Austin Tyler, because that's her son's name. She didn't die, but her son did. So it's basically, if I can't have you, no one else can. And then if you don't die, I'm going to make you miserable, because now I'm going to kill the one thing you love. I'm going to take that away from you. So I'm going to make you suffer the rest of your life. So you don't have to die. I'm going to make you suffer. So it's like you said, it's a jealous heart, it's possession, and it's just crazy. And he was a police officer.
See what I'm saying? To serve and protect, because people doing that to people all the way around. They doing that, like, you got people who do that with their children in general. Like, there's a person that'll keep their child away from another person just to try to hurt them.
Yes.
Even when it doesn't involve somebody actually dying or stuff like that. People will use the things against you that they feel will gonna hurt you the most once they know those things. You know what I mean? So that's
you just have
crazy.
to question that person. You just have to question that person.
Dang, y'all. But that was his kid too, right? Though?
Yeah,
no?
that was his kid. And he killed himself. So basically, she was not able to get justice. So she didn't get to go through that experience to get justice for her child, because he killed himself. She lost her child. So basically, you know, she didn't die. You know, I think the bullet, she said, was still like in her breastplate or whatever. So basically, you know, she's lived with that for this amount of time. So that's why she started the organization, so she could advocate for domestic violence. But you know, that's just the way the world is.
Yeah.
His ass back to life and shot his ass again.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's tough, you know, and I don't like talking on things and coming across as insensitive. So I typically don't talk a lot about it. It's tough. Like I said, you meet someone, and usually we meet a person physically before we meet them mentally. And you know, people say things that you might find cute in the moment, but people really have real intentions behind those words. You know, we all laugh about the scene and what's love got to do with it when Ike tell Tina, if you die, I'm gonna kill you. It's like, what? And we laugh like it was so funny, but it's like it's really people out here that are that possessive.
Yes.
And they show it throughout the relationships, and you know, maybe you are lucky enough to get away from it. But some people never give up. They never give up. It's always on site. You better not have no dudes around my kids, blah, 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 blah. And they really got a screw loose. Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, people find out too late. You know, it's not like we walk around with red flags like, hey, look, I'm the one that will go to that extent. You know, because sometimes you just think a person just talking, like, you just talking, you ain't gonna bust a grape. That nigga that made a whole bottle of wine.
A whole wine.
You know, it's got a whole winery. Because it's some crazy people out here. And, you know, you sit here and you watch Snapped or First 48 and all these different shows. And it's what was that trigger? What got that person over the edge and put everyone in a situation that you can't walk away from?
That's crazy.
And that's why I said early, if we have, you know, if you guys have kids, because I don't have kids, but if you have like teenagers in your life or young adults in your life, talk to them, because maybe a month or so ago, not too far from where I live, it was this boy. They were 19, 20. He went and picked his girlfriend up. Basically, he went and kidnapped her from her job. She worked at Wingstop. He went and kidnapped her from her job, put her in the car, took her to high school. The high school actually is around the corner from my house. Took her to the high school, murdered her in the parking lot of the high school on a Sunday night. And when her mom got on the news, the one thing her mom said, I told her if she continued to mess with him, he was going to kill her. That was what her mom said. So at the age of 19, 20, you know, that's conversations you definitely got to have with them, especially if we see the triggers. Because at 19, that's like crazy. And that was the one thing her mom said on the news that she told her, that if you continue to talk to him or be with him, he would kill you. And he ended up killing her.
That's crazy.
See, that's what I'm saying,
Jesus'
yo.
day.
That's what I'm meaning, like, yo. And then people get upset with fathers when they tell
Yes.
when they be on their daughters about like how you're not dating to a certain, or now you gotta, you know what I mean? Or like, yo, until you get married, you live with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like with us, like until you actually get, because like these are the type of things that you would hate for that to happen to your child. And I mean, like, especially when your child know that you'll go all the way out for him, but your child be protecting you.
Yep.
By allowing somebody to hurt them. And that's another
And
thing
anything
that
about
we deal with that too, like on that end too. So even when you are the type of father that protects and provides for your family, you know, your family feel a certain way about you. They don't want you to go to jail. They don't want you to be in certain things. So they'll deal with things just so that won't happen to you. But there's a few fathers of us out here who really don't care. Like, you really can't do that. Like, you're not going to be able to talk around it. You're not going to be able to hide it. And we're not about to play with you or your boyfriend. It's just but that becomes a conversation when the parents get together. Like, do the parents talk to the other parents and make sure they understand where they stand at? There's a lot of no communication going on with relationships now. I mean,
and that's
think
what we have
about
to check while like the mental illness, because at 19, if that boy didn't witness this in the household, like from a mental illness standpoint, like what triggered you to go drag her from her job, kill her in a car? Like what? Because you still have years to live. So even if she was your first girlfriend, she broke your heart, you got the opportunity to go date several more women.
At
the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. So like at 19. Maybe she had some good. I don't know.
Nah, he just people.
I mean, or his only, because you know,
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, your only could be your, you know, the good, great, whatever you want it to be called, because it's your only, or your first. So you know that might trigger it too. And then he was wrong too. But no, I ain't even gonna say that because that's gonna sound like a joke.
Stop, cut it out.
Now I was
cut
gonna
it
say
out.
it's about the chick. It's about the chicken. It was. Go ahead.
Stop, bro. But yeah, it's just, you know, on the flip side of that, there was a trial that was a couple years ago about this guy and girl, you know, teenagers. She broke up with him and he was like, well, I'm gonna kill myself. Okay. And she was like, do it. And he did it.
Oh shit.
And she went to trial for that. Yeah, she went to trial. Yeah, she went to trial.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she was the asshole though. From what I hear, she used to say that to him a lot. Like she triggered that motherfucker. Yeah, she triggered him.
So that goes back to that mental abuse. That goes back.
She triggered the fuck out of him.
Yeah. Now, when we started the show, remember we was talking about, like, Tamika, you made a great point. You was like, yo, I'd rather somebody punch me in the eye than to put me through mental abuse, because this is the part of domestic violence that we very seldom talk about, because the violent part is something that it's a given. You know, either he gonna kill her or she gonna get tired of it. When he sleep, kill him. Something gonna happen when it comes to that violent part. Think about Al Green. It changed him into a whole minister when them grits got to him. For being, you know what I'm saying?
I don't eat grits to this day.
For being mad extra, right? For putting his hands on his woman. What happened? She gave him some grits. She gave him a hot meal for real.
Good.
Literally, he went the next day and got a collar and a robe.
He was like, I'm gonna be with the Lord. I'm
with God, because she just sent half of my body there. So if you think about that, you know, something gonna happen. But that mental abuse, that right there, financial abuse, we ain't really get into that tonight. Like, we didn't really do none of that. But that one is a real, now that one right there, that's a real, like, that's a slave. That's when a person really feel like they got a slave around. Yeah. You know what I mean? When they feel like they got somebody by the balls financially. You know what I mean? Literally. And unfortunately, I know the scales are uneven when it comes to that too. More men are abusing women with their money. You know what I mean? We get that. You know, that's part of it. But those type of abuses are just as worse as the physical one, especially the mental one, because you could drive a person to do something to themselves.
And it started there. It started with the like
Yeah,
mental
some people get both. Right.
and the
Some people dealing with both.
you know, like they'll start isolating you from your family and your friends, and then they'll start controlling you with their money, and then they mentally abuse you, and then that's when they got you weak and stuff, and then that's when they start physically abusing you. And when they say why women don't leave and it take them 7 times over again to leave, that's why, because they're now
It's layers.
It's
Yeah,
layers.
they
So it's
layers.
not that
Yeah.
they just start go in there beating them or go in there fighting them or slapping them around. It starts because they have to isolate you from your people, because like we just said, if you have a father, like if your daughter had, like if you were her father, I guarantee he wouldn't be putting his hand on your daughter if he knew she had a father like you or brothers or something like that. So they start to isolate you from your family and then get you far away so you can't have that lifeline to call. And then they start controlling you. So
Right.
that's it's layers. Like Mika just said, it's layers to
It's grooming. You know,
Yeah.
it's grooming.
I wish they could do something like y'all said earlier, like whenever, I don't know, like the documentation part, because I mean, so many women have lost their lives, and they got a restraining
There's
order,
embarrassment.
right?
There's
Restraining order don't even work.
Yeah,
Like what good is having a restraining order if it ain't gonna work? You know what I mean?
The guy already on paper probably looks magnificent, and
Yep.
so you haven't said anything, and now you have to go to the police station to file this report, and then that's going to get out, and you start thinking about, oh my god, then this person's going to find out, and then these people are going to know. There's too much. That's why there's not documentation sometimes.
No,
They're afraid.
We got to encourage. Do y'all think we need to start encouraging that though? Because it's a mindset. It's a mindset thing.
But they've
because they got to
already
start
been
documenting.
Yeah, they've already been to the point where they don't even think anybody else is there for them, because that's the part of the emotional abuse. They have no lifelines as far as they know. They don't think they have anybody.
Let me ask you this then, Meek. So in the event that that's the case, that's what I'm saying. Like they don't want to tell because of the way it's going to look towards them, right? But that's not going to save them in the end, though, right? Like, so what can we do? Like, first of all, you're right, though. Not many people, unless you really know, they're not just going to come out and tell you that they're getting abused unless you can see it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But even then, they're going to lie about it.
Make excuses. Oh, he's just
he was upset. Oh, it was my fault. I was talking mad shit. You know how my mouth be. You know, like they
mouth
just
is a
say
little
anything.
reckless.
Yeah.
Reckless.
They try to put the blame on themselves because they don't want anybody to really know, or they, especially if they're the type of woman like a person like CJ's attitude. If somebody like that starts getting abused, how, you know, like they're aggressive, like they, you know, them.
Yeah, you would never expect it. Yeah, you would never expect it. Yeah.
So now they gotta say, "Oh, this dude been beating my ass," and then they gotta worry about people looking at them like, "What? You let this motherfucker beat your ass?" And
all that mouth he got.
Yeah, exactly.
All that shit you be talking, yo, you let somebody choke you out, yo. Like, damn. But that's the thing about the people who always, like they said, you know, always look like they got it all together. That's why they say check on your people, because even the people that look like they always got it all together, they don't. They be going through the most stuff. Think about all the suicide that's committed by people who you wouldn't expect to even be feeling that way. Like, yo, you got everything. You do everything. What made you want to kill yourself? And then boom, you just don't know because they hide it so well. And I guess y'all hit the nail on the head tonight. You know, people ain't gonna let you know what's going on with them. It's like, how could you know to get them help? They don't want to help themselves. So I don't know. Maybe
they gotta be sick of it. They gotta be sick of that.
They gotta be sick and tired of
anything. Like it has to come within. It has to come within to change your life, to change your situation. Like you gotta want that shit bad enough, and not just say it. Like you gotta be working towards that shit. And so they gotta be sick and tired of being punched in their goddamn face, and be like, you know what, this is it. Just like Sunshine's mom. Like Sunshine's mom, she was like, that's it. You guys pack a bag, we out. Like you have to get to that point on your own. People can talk you to death about it, but until you ready to make that move, you ain't gonna do shit.
because the next time might be the last time.
The
The
last
next
time,
time, yeah, because depending on what happened to the time before, it could have got to the point where that probably was almost the last time. The next time it's gonna get worse because each time get worse. Each time get worse.
Mhm.
I think when I was doing the project, I looked at statistics, but one of the big thing, because they could have tried to get help. But if you look, probably if you guys Google where you guys stay and just look at how many shelters is it in your area, like where can they go? Because I know in the state of Georgia, it's probably only like 40 shelters. All of them are full to capacity. So they don't have anywhere to go. I think I was looking at statistics on all the unanswered calls, like when somebody called the domestic violence shelter, all the unanswered calls, or all the calls that were answered, but they didn't have a bed to put them in. So it's things like that that discourage them as well because they need somewhere somewhere to go. So we
Gotcha.
just have to start looking at those statistics and see where it is just from a community standpoint of where are they going to go, because if they don't have the family or if they've been isolated so long from their family, where do they go? Because like I said, the organization that I'm helping, that I'm partnering with for the walk, it was a girl. She was raising like stuff for her and her kids because they had fled here. This is maybe last month. They fled from like Seattle or something. I don't know. She drove in the middle of the night. The husband had took the tag off the car, so she couldn't go anywhere. She had to go steal a tag off an old car to get away. She stopped at like the store, and the police officer was trying to give her a ticket because the tags didn't match, like it was faulty or whatever. She told the officer her situation. He wrote her like a little citation. So if she got stopped along the way, that she would
wouldn't
have
get a ticket.
she
Yeah.
told her to just get in the car and go, because the first time she left, one of her family members, or it was something with a phone or Facebook or something, he was able to find her through her family members from Facebook because she was still in the town. So she literally had to run away here again to not be found. The same, you know, what happened with my mom. You have to, like, when you're in small town and you know your family, because even that night when we left, my dad rode around to like all of my aunt's house, all of my cousins. He rode around the city looking for us. We could see him. He rode around. That's why my mom knew she had to leave the state to get away from him, because she knew if she didn't go far, he was gonna basically drag her back, because all he had to do was threaten to take us, because at the end of the day, we were his kids. We were 12 and 13. She technically couldn't take us away. They were married. So she knew she had to go to another city. And, you know, growing up back then, they didn't have domestic violence shelter. They didn't have all of these resources that we may have now. So growing up, you know, back then it was common. It was the norm. My mom couldn't drive. So, you know, back then my mom was older. She couldn't drive. So she was dependent on my dad. She worked, but he was the breadwinner. So it goes back to that financial abuse. It goes back to that mental abuse. She was dependent on him. So for all those years, she was dependent. And that's why if you look at the statistics, they say it takes a woman 7 times before she gets tired and leave. So some may make it to the 7 times, some may not. So, but we just got to have an open door when a family member or somebody, you know, have the courage to express that, or you know, just and like I say, I think we need to talk to, like, just growing. We need to talk to young men, talk to young women. I think, like I said, we got to start there. We got to talk to the teenagers and to the young adults just about this situation to try to.
Well, we do. I think we listen. I don't know how, but I wish. I mean, I know it's a form of like accepting responsibility, but I wish we could talk to abusers more.
Yeah, but I mean, who gonna really, like you said, bro? You come over here and I slap somebody up, and then you like, yo, Kev, like, yo, why you do that? And I give you some little dumb answer, and then we go wherever we going, and then you fade to black. You know, you don't fuck with me no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's that person that's going to be the voice of reason to tell me to not continue this action? Because the first person who stood up to me about it has now left me and has now left her too. So it's kind of like, even though it's the right thing, because like, yo, I'm not about to be around somebody who beating a girl. You giving that person, you almost enabling that person at the same time, because there's no one there to check them.
Yeah.
Because you know, if she can't go to her friends, if she can't go to nobody else, and have somebody
Mm-hmm.
come and stand in front of them and say, look, bro, you can't do this.
Right,
If me
right,
and you
right.
are boys, it's because we respect each other. And if you telling me something, I have to take it a little more serious than I would for Sunshine Brother to tell me something, because he got to catch these hands, because now he's trying to stop me from doing something. You're my boy. So if you telling me, I know it's coming from a place of love, like, yo,
Mhm.
I don't want that for you.
Right,
Like, this
right,
ain't what
right.
you're supposed to be doing. Like, bro, like, let's, you know, and how
Yeah.
many, you know, there's so many people who can look back and be like, damn, I remember such and such, or I knew about this situation, or, yo, dude was always like this. And, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough because you have to do what's right for your life.
Right.
But without people getting help, you could cost somebody else theirs.
I know. I just wish that we could, you know, like it was a way. Like, because you're right though. It's not really that, but I mean, like the abusers themselves, like people who know that that's who they are. Like, you know who you are. Like I would say, like your dad, like Sunshine, like your dad know he was mean. He know what he did to your mom. It's like certain people. I wish like they would be willing to have a conversation. You know what I mean? About why they do what they do. Like what
It took him on his
triggered
deathbed
you?
to apologize.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was
apologizing is one thing. I get that. Like that's something that, you know, that people do. Like you said, when they get to a place where they feel like, you know, now I can honestly. But I'm just saying, like, even in that midst, like, okay, you apologize, yo, I appreciate that, but why did you do it?
Some people don't think it's wrong. Some people really don't.
But I want to talk about that. Like, why don't you think that's wrong? Because if somebody did that to your daughter, would you expect? Now I'm talking to a man now.
Yes.
Now I'm not talking to nobody that's trying to, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm just talking to a man straight up. Like, B, would you like somebody to do that to your daughter? Would you give that man in the past to do that to your daughter? What you doing to her mom or his mom, whoever, you know? Is that a thing? So even when they say that, Sunshine, like for us as a man, you can't give me that. You will never be able to say, yo, I don't think it's wrong. Like, you know it's wrong.
No, it's
because
wrong.
you wouldn't let nobody else do that to something that you claim that you love more than you.
Correct.
Obviously, you just don't love this woman more than you. But you won't let nobody do that to your children if that's the case. You won't let nobody do that to your little girl. So you know it's wrong. Why are you doing that, B? Like, be honest. Is you doing that because you feel like you can to this person? Like, what is it? Like, because I feel like that's the conversation that we really need to have so we can get down to the bottom of it, so we could nip that in the bud of these little boys early.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? Because, you know, realistically, a lot of these young boys that are doing all this dumb stuff that they're doing now, they being raised by, you know, their mom. They don't have their dads. So we got to figure that out. Like, yo, I bet we already know that's an issue, but we ain't talking about that right now. I want to know to the people who be doing that to people. Why are you doing that, B? Like, why are you hurting? Like, why are you doing that? Person piece, a lot of men in jail right now for killing women. Like, why, yo? But they don't have an outlet to speak about what's going on with them. You'll never have a platform or show that's saying, yo, I just want to hear from you. Like, why did you do that, yo?
It sounds crazy, but it's like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, it sounds crazy if you just sit there and say, wait, a support group for abusers. It sounds crazy, but mental health is so serious. And people live with these problems and they go untreated, they go undiagnosed. And, you know, people will just continue this behavior until something stops them. And sometimes it's a bullet that stops them.
Yeah. Because these women got guns now. They doing taekwondo. They doing all this stuff now. So run up on them if you want to. I'm saying things are different. Things are different, fellas. I'm letting y'all know now. You run up on one of these women. Yeah. Run up on one of them if you want to.
I'll get done up.
Like I'm telling y'all, Mika be talking with the quiet voice, but remember, y'all, she used to steal Humvees, yo. She will she will snipe you off, yo. Yeah, don't get it twisted. Like I say, you know, I advocate for that. I'm like one of the biggest people who champion women, like getting you a protection, getting you a gun, getting you what you need to make sure that people, because not even just from your partner, but from people that be snatching y'all up, sex trafficking and all other kind of shit.
So when we did the self-defense class 2 or 3 weeks ago, it wasn't for you to be at home fighting your man and doing all of that. It's Christmas time when people running up on you trying to take steal your stuff at the gas station. We want to just teach you, if somebody come up behind you and choke you, what to do when they coming up behind you choking you. So it was just any form of violence towards women. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we are we talk a lot of junk, but we are helpless. We are defensive in some things. Men are stronger than women, and if you come up behind me choking me, if I don't know the technique to break out of that, then you can do whatever. But so we just teaching women just how to protect themselves in any situation. It don't have to be that you might be getting abused at home. It could be just any violent situation.
Just protecting yourself, period. Word. So for all of y'all that watched tonight, and I appreciate y'all. There was a lot of y'all that jumped on tonight. That was super dope. I really do, man. And I do want y'all to know that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But this is something that people dealing with all year round, not just in the month that we highlight things, right? So it's happening all year round. If y'all know something, say something, man. If y'all got somebody y'all know that's dealing with something, try y'all best to try to do something that you can. We know, like Tamika said, CJ said it too, like until a person is actually tired of being tired, they're going to continue to go through whatever they go through. So we get that. You know what I mean? So, but all you could do is your part. If you're a person that feels empathy for people and you'll feel like, because you knew situation was going on and you didn't do anything, it'll make you feel a certain type of way, then try to do something that you can. Speak up, say something if you can. If you don't want to get involved, try to anonymously call something. And try to figure out a way that you can highlight it and let somebody know that this is going on. Because people do it with their kids all the time. They'll call CPS on you in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Let you run around here and do something to your children that people don't want. They'll anonymously call those people on you. So keep the same energy when it comes down to somebody dealing with abuse, please. So before we get out of here, we just want to know, all right, so Sunshine, how can anybody get in contact with you? Like if they need help, if people need somebody to talk to, if they need any type of resources, if they're in the Georgia area or if they're not. I don't know if you guys deal with people that are all over the nation or whatever, you know what I mean? But how can people get in contact with you that may need more information from you?
So they can always hit me up on IG or Facebook, Sunshine Anderson. But I do, it's the echo. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
But we do have a campaign called the Purple Passion Project. So if you follow us on Facebook and you look up, follow the Purple Passion Project page, you'll find our organization on Facebook under there. And you can always DM us or hit us up and we will get you guys to the right resources and the right organization that can assist.
There it is. And her name, the way that her name is spelled up here, y'all, is her name on social on IG. So all you guys that may need some information, may need to find out the next self-defense class if you're in Georgia, or just how you can organize a self-defense class maybe in your state or something. Y'all, you and a bunch of ladies probably gonna have to put some funds together to get them to travel. Because it's only right, you know what I mean? Make sure that you get the proper instruction and you can get some things going on, but at least you know that there is somebody out here that's willing to come out there and show you how to get yourself out of a dangerous situation if you ever find yourself in one. So
local police can help you. The local police did ours. One of the it was the police trainers. So however they train at the police academy, that's how they trained us. One of the officers, she knew jiu-jitsu, so she showed us all the moves. So our local office, police department, they were the ones who taught our self-defense class.
I bet. So there it is. So then if y'all don't want to get her and the crew to probably come up here and organize it, she just gave y'all a cheat code. Y'all can do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure Barney Fife ain't the one trying to show y'all how to get out of chokehold. You know what I'm saying? But either way it go, y'all, you got to figure this out, y'all. So if y'all can, if y'all need information, reach out to her and she'll point y'all in the right direction and we can make something shake, all right? Domestic violence is real. It's something that people are dealing with each and every day, and it can definitely happen to someone close to you. So pay attention and just don't turn a blind eye if you can, yo. You know what I mean? So, Kev, what you got going on? B? You got anything coming up? Any people need to know?
Nah, bro. Nah.
You sound like Tamika.
It's for corn maze doing 100 house or something. You know, simple
Oh,
stuff.
all right. Yeah, we lit then. We got one of them coming up. All right. So what's up, Meek? What you got going on?
Man, just follow me on Facebook. I got a lot of shit going on.
She back to that, yeah.
I got too much shit in the works, man. I'm working. I am working on some like mindset stuff with this nonprofit that I'm working with that helps Black entrepreneurs. So we working on some new material to bring to these Black entrepreneurs here in North Carolina, to help them with some mindset barriers that they might be going through. So
there it is. And don't forget, y'all, Tamika and making those journals for y'all. Y'all could, the letters to your children, y'all.
Yes.
Different ages and age brackets, you know what I mean? Where, you can write letters to your children and they can use that as a keepsake so they can always have. And as they look at their lives when they get older and they keep this book and they open it, they can remember things about how you felt about them. And things are always different when you write it. I don't know. It's just something about taking your time to write something. It's a little bit more heartfelt, whether you use your pen or a keyboard, I don't know. But as long as it's something you're taking the time to express yourself, it's always a little bit more heartfelt when it comes that way. So y'all make
New
sure
Year's coming, so I do planners too. So y'all need some planners, let me know. It's custom made just for you, so nobody's gonna look like yours.
There it is, y'all. So y'all hold it down. Y'all make sure y'all holler at me, man, if y'all need any of that. All right, C-Double, where we going?
So we actually got the sign up page for preview.careers up and running, only available on laptops. Of course, it's a slow grind. We are getting it working on mobile phones, but it is readily available on laptops or computers.
Right.
So check us out, guys. Sign your email up and go ahead and
get that information. Remember, if y'all want a career, remember we say that every time. It's a career. It's not a job. Like, yo, if you want to answer the phone, if you want to wash dishes, if you want to, that's not for preview. But if you got a trade, if you coming right out of school, like you're welding, you build a roof, you can, you know what I'm saying, you know how to use a caulk gun. Holla at them, yo, you know what I'm saying? They'll get you right, yo. You know how to hold a ladder, yo. They'll get you right,
nursing, nutrition, HVAC, all that good shit, like all that.
They got you right, yo. They'll get you right, yo. You know what I'm saying? So y'all make sure y'all do that. And then on my end, y'all know what to do, man. Just follow us. We got mad content dropping. I mean, mad joints. We got so much stuff. We got these vampire joints coming. Like, it's just so much stuff, man. It's just crazy. And what else we doing? Clothing line. Y'all already know what we doing with that collective wear, man. We out here, man. Y'all just check us out. What else we doing, y'all? It's a lot. It's really a lot, y'all. And like I said, sometimes it's hard to say all the things that we got going on because people will think we lying. I mean, honestly, yo.
Why
like for
you
real,
always lying?
Really, yo. People ask me that, yo, and they be like, "Yo, what you do?" I be like, "Yo, son, don't even go there, yo, because you're gonna think I'm lying, yo. You're gonna really think I'm lying. You're gonna think I'm
really Batman, like."
You know what I'm saying? I really am Kev's sidekick on that. I just get off earlier than he do. I gotta start the show. Yeah, I get off earlier than he do. Yo, where is going? But yo, until next time, like I said, if y'all guys wanna support the show, y'all know what to do, man. Y'all just hit us up on the link tree, and they'll get y'all the information that y'all can. Y'all can just check us out on there. We got links to everything if y'all want that. ShowtimeCarolina@gmail.com if you guys have any interest on being on the show. Like, we open it up for people who got any type of business, any type of situation. You want to come on, you want to come chop it up with us. Now, y'all know we do conversations. We don't do interviews. So if you want to come on the show, you want to share what I'm opening it up now. Come through. You know what I'm saying? Let us know. And we'll try to schedule you in if we can. And if it makes sense, because we want to make sure we know what you want to talk about, because we're not just talking about anything. Now, we do talk about anything up here, but we're not about to be up here talking crazy. Like, y'all got to find something better to do, because some of y'all be wanting to talk about people's toes and shit. Now, we're not doing that. I mean, we had to talk about feet, We did. We talked about feet before because we talked about OnlyFans feet. But
Yeah.
if you ain't got no OnlyFans feet, we ain't talking about that. All right, but so listen, all of y'all that's out there watching, we definitely appreciate y'all, Sunshine. I definitely appreciate you jumping on and chopping it up with us and giving us your point of view on everything and your perspective and all the things that you're doing to advocate for women in domestic violence situations and helping them and their families get to a better and safe environment and not to just stand in the dysfunction. I guess that's what we could call it, dysfunction, right? And all of y'all that's watched tonight, please, man, if y'all dealing with something, if y'all getting hit with bricks and all that other shit, please reach out to somebody, all right? And all that other stuff that's going on. We don't want y'all getting beat up and learn how to get out of a chokehold. I don't know how y'all can do it. If y'all some shape, form, or fashion,
Yeah.
we go figure that out. Teach y'all how to get out of a chokehold and shit, yo. All right, yo. So until next time, y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Rawan. This is Sparking Conversation, and don't forget, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will, yo. All right. So until next time, man, y'all hold it down.